Here's a Beyond the Pitch podcast quick hit from the WVSA Digital Network.
There are three moments in the game. There's the pregame, there's the actual game itself, and then there's a postgame. And the areas that would come into play are both the pregame and the during game events or actions that might take place. So if you think about what you do before the game and how you prepare your players for what might happen, whether it's in training, whether it's a pregame discussion, what are you going to do when it happens? But also as a coach, trying to identify before it actually starts happening. Usually the more experience you have as a coach, the easier it is to do. But even for the novice coach, many times you could tell pretty quickly that a team is probably not going to be able to match up with you evenly. So you almost want to start taking action steps before it gets to the point that you cannot possibly reel it back in. Because once it gets to that point, trying to tell players or asking players to do different things is really not developmental anymore, because the other team may not be providing any kind of opposition to it. So if you can recognize these early and try to start taking preventative actions, such as if you give your players certain challenges once the game gets out of hand, maybe as soon as the game gets to 2 goals, if they happen pretty quick, you could start with that, or even start the game with those challenges. I've found in my experiences as a coach, which I have about a little over 20 years before I got into the state association side of it and more on the coaching education. But I spent about 20 years in the trenches, boots on the ground, if you will, in those environments. And it's one that many times I would almost try to give my players challenges before the game, regardless of whether or not I knew the outcome or felt comfortable with the outcome, because when there's life in the opponent, then my players are going to have to make decisions, which in turn will make them better players, better at recognizing situations. If I have to lift it because it really isn't working out the way I want, or I see frustration is setting in, I find it's a lot easier to ask the players to stop doing something than it is to ask them to do something once that train starts going out of control.